Okay, Fumish and Rashi. We're at the beginning. At the beginning. Yeah, almost. Yeah, we're at the fifth reading. Parshas Bereishit. I still have catch up. Let's get right into it. Okay. So we are fifth reading. Vikach loy lemach. Lemach took for himself shtei nashim, two wives. Shem ha'achas. The name of the first one was Ada. And Shem ha'shniya shenis. The second was Tzila. Let's see Rashi. What's going on here? So 1 second. This is already after Cain killed Abel. That was in yesterday's reading. Cain killed Abel. Right? And he had a son Chanoich, and Chanoich had a son Irad. Irad had a son Mechoyel, and Mechoyel Misishalach. Misishalach, who is actually the oldest person, I think 969. And now he had a son Lamach. Okay, so this is like 5 generations after Cain, right? And so he took 2 wives. Let's see Rashi. Hikach loy lemech, and Lemech took for himself. Loy hayaloy lefarish kol zeh. Why did Torah need to tell us all these details? But only to teach us something. At the end, that God kept His promise. That He said, Shivasayim yukam Kayin, that after 7 generations, Cain will suffer revenge. Right? God said, right? He said that my sin is too much to bear. So He said, okay, it'll be for 7 generations that you won't have to pay. There won't be retribution. But after 7 generations, right? So Amad Lemach rose Achar Shoheli Banim, after he begot sons. Also Dereshvi. So he was the 6th generation. There were 5 in between. He was the 6th generation from Cain. Right? His children were 7th generation. There's already 7th generation that God said. Right? So he made 7th generation. Harga is Cain. And he killed Cain. And this is when Lamach said, Ki ish harakti lefitzi, that I have slain a man by my wound. Well, we'll see in a few verses. We're in verse 19, this will be verse 23. Shtei nashim, he had 2 wives. Kach hayadarkan. This was the way they practiced back then. Sheldora mabul. Excuse me. This is how they practiced before the flood. Between Adam and Noah is 10 generations, right? So now we're talking about the 7/8 generation now. This is all before the flood. So they had 1 wife, Achas for procreation, to have a family, and 1 just for relationships, without the intent of procreating. And this one was for conjugal relations. Mashka, her husband, would give her to drink koshel ikarin, a cup of roots. It was contraceptive. It was a concoction of roots that made her sterile. Yeah, sterile, that she would be barren. Right. In order that she would be sterile, and he would adorn her like a bride, and she would eat all delicacies. While the other wife, right, Nizufa ke'almana, would be scorned like a widow. And this is what Job described. Roya akara, he lets graze the sterile one. He lets graze the sterile one, lo late, who will not give birth. The almana, but the widow, meaning the scorned wife, lo yitav, he does not treat her well. As explained in the Talmud. Okay? Ada. Sorry, 1 second. Rashi, Ada, he Shapiri Ribia. She was the one for procreation. Al Shem Shemeguna Olav, because she's called Ada because she's repulsive to him. Umayseres Me'etzla, and kept away from him. Ada Targum Shel Sarah. Not Sarah with a samach, with a sin, but with a samach, which means removed. Someone is removed, because you scorn the person, so you remove them from you, right? So you only add her till you can have a family. Okay? Got it?
How could a child have been named Adam? What's the prophetic?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know. Good question. Excellent question.
How could she, as a baby, be named Adam? Did the mother know that she would have been rejected? It's like if it were a nickname given to her by a husband, I can understand that. But for a child to be named Adam,
that's a good question.
Into someone
yeah. Right. So either it's prophetic vision, right, or maybe this is her we have to look. We have to look to see if the commentaries say anything on that. Good question. Okay, Rashi, Tzila, the second wife, he shall tashrin she was for conjugal relations. Al shem she shevis tami b'tzilai. Tzila means shade, meaning she's constantly in her husband's shadow. Divrei Agada and Bereishit Rabbah. These are the word of Agada and Bereishit Rabbah. Okay, we have to see. Okay, next verse. V'tele Ada es Yuval who haya avi yoshev oyel umikna. So Ada gave birth to Yaval, and he was the father of those who dwell in tents and take care of herds. Here it says he was the first to build temples and idol worship, right? That's not what those words mean, but that's what Rashi's going to explain. You got to be careful when you see those words, right? That they understand that that's not, and I don't know why it's all should have been. It should have not be in bold. It should be because it's not the translation of the words. Let's see Rashi in 20. Avi Yoshev father who dwells in a tent with livestock, who and he was the first. Right, father means first here. L'raya behemoths b'midbaros, to graze animals in the desert. The Yoshev Ayalim, and would they were the first to do that. Nomads, right? Chodesh Khan, there would be a month here, a month there. Yishvil Mirah to pasture the flock. When the pasture would be complete in one place, finished, in other words, right? In other words, the flock ate everything. There was nothing more to feed them, right? He would go and pitch his tent in another place. That's a simple meaning, right?
So they're like nomads then.
Yeah, exactly. Midrash Haggadah, and now he gives a midrashic explanation over here. Right? What does it mean? Boine batim, he would build houses for idolatry. And the word mikne, kama dat amar, hamakne semel hakno, meaning the image of jealousy which enrages. Similarly, his brother, as we'll see in the next verse, Teifis Kina Uga, handled the harp and the flute, in order to sing music for idolatry. Okay, got it? Okay, 21, last verse. The Shem Achiv, in the name of his brother. Huh?
It's not the last.
No, it's not the last verse, right? Shem Achiv, the name was Yuval. Was Yuval. There's Yaval and Yuval. Huaya Avi, Kol Teifes Kina Uga. He was the father, meaning the first, of all those who were Teifes, handled the harp and the flute. Oh, okay, sorry, right. Next is the last, 22. The Tzila, and Tzila Gam He, Yalda is Tuval Kayin. She too, she bore even though she was not meant to have children, right? Right? She gave birth to Tubal Kayin, Loitish Kol Cherish Nechoshes Uvarzel, Va'achos Tubal Kayin Nama. And he was the one that she bore Tubal Kayin, a sharpener of any sharp copper and iron. Huh? For the AC?
Yeah.
From?
Something technology, whatever. Look at it.
From Guaranteed?
Yeah.
From Guaranteed? Yeah. Okay, tell Mendel. I don't know, but if you don't mind, just call him and tell him. Okay? I can't deal with it. Okay. Let's see, Rashi. Tuval Kayin. Tuval Umnotza Shel Kayin was the craft of Cain. Tuval Lashon Tavlin comes from the word seasoning. It comes from the word seasoning. What does that mean? Tibel behiskin. He seasoned and improved Umnotza Shel Kayin, the craft of Cain, Lasos Klei Zayin, to make weapons. L'reitzkin for murderers.
Sure.
Right. So he's named after Cain, right? But he's a sharpener of Cain, meaning he's seasoning, right, and making more and better than what his great grandfather did, right?
Wow.
Right. He made better the craft.
Murderers.
Huh?
Specifically for murderers.
Yeah.
Not for work.
It's an arms dealer.
Interesting, huh?
Wow.
How does Rashi get that? I guess because he's doing.
Because it says Tubal Kain, so it's connected to Kain.
I guess just like he was a murderer, so he is seasoning and making better the job of what Cain did. And yeah, okay, I guess something like that. Okay, next Rashi. Lo tishkol cheresh nechoshes ubarzo, sharpening of any sharp copper and iron. Mechaded, he would sharpen clay umnos, tools of craft. Nechoshes ubarzo, copper and iron. Kamash yaltush einav li. Similar to the word loitish is not a usual term, but it means to sharpen. Cheresh ein a loshin payel. The word cheresh is not a noun in the active form. Elalosh poel, but it is a participle. Shari no good comments cotton. Betamal mata. The verse means to say that he's sharpening and shines called kli umnais, all the tools of craft, of copper and iron. Nama he isha shel Noach. Nama is the wife of Noach. It's interesting. Right, the commentators were like, why is her name mentioned? What role does she play with anything, right? The reason why, because she's the wife of Noach, so therefore her name is mentioned. That's why Rashi explains that. To say it's because what's the proof from the verse over here that she's the wife of Noach, right? How would you know that? Yeah. All right.
Was Noah's name mentioned previously, or is it
No.
the first time it's mentioned?
No. His name will be mentioned at the end of the parsha. On the seventh reading will be mentioned, not here, not even tomorrow. Okay, it's just shaping up for tomorrow's death of Cain. But that will be tomorrow. All right. I don't have the book. I have to go and get my book with the Rebbe Sichas, as I have from Dvarim. All right.
Oh, very early.
Yeah. All right, folks. We'll see you by Tanya shortly.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Any questions? All right. Okay. Thank you, folks.